See,
What
again,
is this
there's
shit? You're gonna see me in my basement. So I'm gonna the sword behind me.
oh my
Now it's not
god.
showing up in my camera.
Yeah, same.
That was kind of interesting where he said, now it's not showing up in my camera. And the other guy
Yeah.
said, yeah, same. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
don't
heard
know.
that.
I don't know if that means that the autofocus just went out or it actually went
It could have
invisible.
passed by. So there's, I guess I would say, in my best guess is either it went behind something or like a cloud, or it, like you said, it cloaked, or did one of its dimensional things that UFOs seem to be able to do. I don't know.
I think it might have been a function of the autofocus, but the question is, what caused the autofocus to try to focus on something closer? So I will get to this later, but there are also these flashes that are happening around the five light formation. So maybe it was one of those unidentified flashes that caused the
Right.
autofocus to go out.
Huh.
Okay, this is number 4.
I told you all this research wasn't for nothing. I knew aliens were real.
Wait, he's talking about research.
Yeah, he's a UFO nerd like us.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You heard that?
Yeah.
All this research wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, I think he's talking about how he talks to his friends about UFOs and researches UFOs. And it's kind of saying, like, look, everyone, it's real. It wasn't wasted time.
Yeah, or maybe it's not. Yeah,
What do you think
yeah.
he meant?
I don't know, dude. Maybe he could be. I don't know. I don't know. I want to. I guess I'm going with my X-Files thing here. Is I want to believe there's something more sinister to that, but it's probably just he's a UFO nerd like us.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's probably what that is.
Aliens were real.
That
Did you see
thing
that
is
flash?
so
Did you see it?
yes, and this thing is maintaining its course altitude, and it is
There's more lights
shimmering.
around it.
My God. So it's kind of like phasing in and out.
I think that's like the autofocus.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
going in and out like that. Okay, let's see. Number 5. And then near the end of the event, an important thing is they launched 2 flares in response, and seemingly in response to the 5 light formation. So in this last 2 videos, you'll see these 2 bright orbs above a much dimmer 5 light formation, and those 2 bright orbs, like these 2 bright things right here, those are actually flares that were apparently launched in response to this, formation to try to illuminate it. Yeah.
So they did launch flares.
They absolutely did launch flares.
But it wasn't in. So they're just leaving some context out. That's all, Susan. That's all they're doing. That's the cover up. They're just leaving they're like, yeah, we launched flares, but we don't know what you're talking about. We just launched flares.
Yeah, well, they're trying to make it sound like it's all flares.
Yeah.
But according to the narrative of the witnesses, they were seeing this unidentified, formation, and then near the end of the time that was visible, 2 mortar-launched flares were launched from their camp.
That's wild.
Seemingly, according to them, it was in response to this, what they called it, a craft.
So
to try to illuminate it.
What you're telling me is that they must have been picking this thing up on radar then.
Oh yeah.
They must have been like, this is an incursion. Because when I did ask my cousin about the safety standards of the base, they're as strict no-fly zones over those bases unless like training operations are underway. So if they're, I'm wondering why, if this is a genuine UFO, why they didn't shoot the thing down.
Well, typically rules of engagement is you want to know your target before you shoot it. So if that's the whole thing with UFOs, if you can't get a positive ID on your target, you do not fire because you're risking shooting your friendlies that way.
Well, yeah,
right?
yeah, we know, we do know, and the Soviet Union did put out that order back in the day that said, because they were firing upon UFOs, and then they put out after a ton of accidents, they put out a memo basically saying these things have a very high rate of like capacity of retaliation. So basically saying like if you mess with them, unfortunately they mess back harder.
Yeah.
So don't do it. Just observe.
Yeah, that's probably the best move unless you really know what
So
you're
what I
talking.
would do is illuminate them.
Yep.
I
So
would
we'll watch
flare
this
them.
video number 5. And this is near the end of the event after they launched the 2 flares. But if you look closely, you'll also see the 5 light formation.
Please tell me this is the end of the world.
You can kind of see them now.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
see
So they're in they're for anyone who does. Okay, look at the N of weaponized. Go a little bit like halfway to the flares, and you can kind of see them right there. So they're in the distance, and it seems they've launched these flares, and obviously that's what's dimming them for our cameraman, but unfortunately, but they are trying to get a better look at this thing.
Yep.
That's what's happening.
Okay.
Huh. I wonder why the base didn't go on alert or anything.
Well, according to the witnesses, there was a massive response in the immediate aftermath of the sighting, where they had, a bunch of high-speed, low-flying helicopters zipping over Camp Wilson, which is not normal, and there was a convoy of trucks, and there is a video of that too. There's one last video, and this video came from Reddit. So this actually came out after.
So this is separate.
This came out after Corbell published his podcast. This is a different angle, but in this one, you can also see the 2 flares, right? And then the 5 light formation below it.
Yeah, just like I was saying. So you could see, so it's like halfway up the screen. And so it's now, the only thing I'm having a hard time with is it seemed closer earlier, but the way the V shape is, you think it would be coming over their heads, but it seems like it's going away from them.
That's what they said. If that audio in that last video, one witness said that it seemed like it was going further away. So I think they launched the flares and maybe it kind of backed away to the flares. Maybe that's just one night. And then they also said, the witnesses said it just disappeared. So that's cloaking. So that's one of the 5 observables.
Yeah.
So let's play this last one, and then we can talk more.
Hey, yo. I think they know we're looking at them.
And you'll also see flashing in this too.
Oh, shit!
Look how many. Do you hear how many people?
Pardon?
Do you hear how many people are screaming?
Yeah.
Like not in like a scared way, because like I bet some of them were a little bit actually scared because they have no idea what's really going on. But it seems like there's a lot of people. So up to how many witnesses? I heard around 50
Well,
upwards of
that's
50.
according to one of the witnesses who was at one location. He said there was at least 50 people in the immediate area where he was.
Okay. So that's where I got that number. At
Yeah.
least 50.
At least 50.
But probably somewhere upwards of what my
Hundreds. I would say
yeah,
hundreds.
my cousin told me that if it was fully if that area was full, which it most likely was at the time, from the sounds of these videos, that you would be looking at 3, 4, maybe 500.
Yeah, I could easily see that, especially considering there were different locations quite a ways away from each other,
Yeah,
like hundreds of yards away from each other,
very much.
that were filming.
Yeah.
So
He said because Camp Wilson, or I can't, I'd have to bring the text back up. But basically what he said was that let me bring it. So Camp Wilson is the one that they're at right there in that location. Yeah, he said he knows exactly where that location is. That's Camp Wilson, which is it's wait, is he saying isn't a training area? It's a main camp to stage for units before they push out for the actual ranges. So it's like a staging area where they stage. So these guys, there'd be, like I said, upwards of 500. So it's not they're not actually like training or doing anything. It's more like a staging, getting ready to go to the range.
yeah, and this is the
So
largest military and largest Marine base in the world. They have a ton of space to go out and do things. They're not going to be launching flares and launching munitions right over the head of the camp.
no, absolutely not. Especially this area where it's a staging area. It's like it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. But clearly, this thing provoked some response out of the base.
Exactly.
So I wonder why John Greenwald is so quick to dismiss this case and not start FOIA requesting documents about that evening.
Well, actually, he did make a FOIA request, and we have the results of that, and that's also part of my research.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a little bit. I just want to go through all the different videos. I think this was the last video, so we'll just finish playing this one. Start from the beginning again.
Hey, yo. I think they know we're looking at them.
Yo, what the fuck?
Oh, shit! Hey, wait.
And if you
Is
look
that space?
if you look at the five light formation, you can kind of see that it's kind of like 4 lights and then one kind of goes down. This was what I was talking about, how the shape changes from different locations.
Huh.
And I'll get back to that later, but
You don't think that's just perception?
it is perception. Exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
from a different angle, it appears to look different. That's what I think is happening.
Okay.
What the hell?
Yo, what the fuck?
Those are
Is it getting
flares.
closer?
Those are flares.
Yeah. Those are flares. We know those are flares, but what the
So-
fuck are those bright lights?
Yeah.
So again, we have the Marines differentiating the flares that they know and the lights that they do not know.
Exactly.
So, in my opinion, why are we not taking this seriously?
I think it has to do with just, first impressions matter for a lot of people. And in the immediate aftermath of when this case came out, Mick West had a video out there, quote unquote, debunking it. Greenwald had a statement from the government saying nothing to see here. And, I think there was just a bandwagon. People are like, and a lot of people don't like Corbell. So there's also that factor. They just hate Corbell just for, him. It's the fact that he's the person who brought out the case. That's enough for them to say it's all bullshit.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong, guys. Listen, this is from the bottom of my heart. We all know I've been very vocal about it lately. I'm so sick of the